This is Alex, a passionate entrepreneur who runs a custom jewelry business online. Despite having a stunning website and unique products, Alex is struggling to attract visitors. His website traffic is stagnant and sales are disappointing. The missing ingredient? Proper SEO and content marketing. Welcome back to Elevate Your Success, your ultimate guide to unlock the secrets of entrepreneurial mastery and personal empowerment. If you haven't done it yet, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. When SEO for businesses is discussed, you don't hear a lot about content marketing. Even some professionals make this mistake. But after reading this chapter, you will know better. Along with SEO, content marketing is a very important part of modern marketing. When you combine these two concepts, if your execution is flawless, you can make your website an unstoppable force. If you make a content marketing strategy and keep search engine optimization in mind, your brand will be able to make the most out of any digital campaign. These kinds of strategies are often called integrated strategies because they bring two powerful concepts together. When SEO meets content marketing, social media is an essential way of life for both individuals and businesses in this day and age. Since the customers are on these platforms, businesses also put a lot of effort into promoting their products and services on websites like Facebook, X, Instagram, and so on. Email marketing is another area of internet marketing that gives promising results. What they don't do is promise to always capture the demographic you are aiming for. That can be achieved with this kind of integrated marketing strategy. For instance, when a customer of a certain product or service has a question, they immediately jump to a search engine and enter the question in the search bar. The likes of Google then find a website that can answer that question. When you are trying to capture that segment of your customers, you have a chance to reach them directly by optimizing your content. This is about giving them the right information at the right time. That is how search engine optimization and content marketing come together and benefit your brand. 1. The execution process. This has a few simple steps. Once you put them in place, you will be able to take full advantage. Here's how it works. Step 1. Figure out your audience. Optimizing your content is all about making it easy for the user to find the products or services they want. So you need to start by identifying who these customers are. Once you do that, you will be able to create the kind of content they are looking for. And by making it SEO friendly, you can tap into their queries and get their attention. You can do that by asking and answering a few simple questions. You need to identify your present customer base. Finding out who they are will point you towards data on what they like and what more they are expecting from your brand. This kind of data is both qualitative and quantitative. So, do your research on age, gender, purchase history, and engagement with your website or brand. This gives you a rough description of your average existing customer. The next data point is to identify your competition. See what your demographic is looking for in your competition and why they are seeking those brands out. This information is almost readily available on social media accounts, customer reviews, and comments on authority blogs. When you find customers who are happy with the competition, you learn about what you might be lacking. And when you find customers who are unhappy with the competition, you get to know if that is a space you can fill. That leads you to what you can offer to get your competition's customers to switch to your brand. This means you need to think about the products or services you presently offer and the demographic that benefits from it. Combine that with the information you already gathered about your competition, and you can identify loopholes. Finally, understand what your brand value is in the current market. Find out what your existing and potential customers think about your services and products. Also, find out about the areas where you excel and what you need to improve. This information can be gathered through simple surveys on social media or your own website. The answers to all these questions will help you segment the customer base and help you build your buyer persona. Now you can build content that is specific to this demographic, and when you optimize it for search engines, you can reach them more effectively and drive traffic to your website. When the content is good, you will be able to convert them into paying customers or strengthen the loyalty factor with existing customers. Step 2. Define yourself. You know your audience and what they want. You also know the competition and what they are offering, which you may or may not do already. This gives you the chance to redefine your brand, figure out current topics of discussion, and create content accordingly. Make sure you speak like a voice of authority on the subject. If this requires more work and research, invest resources in it because in the long run, you will see great results. The content you provide must also be unique and not a rehash of what can be found elsewhere. Make an effort to stand out not just with the language, but with insights. Step 3. Do your keyword research. You know what this is all about, as I covered it in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, please do. Step 4. Create great content. Once you have the unique content topics and the keywords that will help you reach the audience you are targeting, you must take the content beyond your blogs. You might even want to consider expanding the website to contain long-form content like white papers and ebooks. Videos are a big part of the SEO game, so you might want to start investing resources there if you haven't already. Now, if you want your customers to stay on your page and explore what you have to offer, you need to go beyond keywords. That's where the research you did on creating unique content topics will come in handy. Create high-quality content that is appreciated by both the customers and search engines. This way, you also steer clear of search engine penalties for low-quality content. Here's how you make your content good beyond the obvious thought, which is a stroke of genius in substance. 1. Make sure your blog posts are well written and don't have spelling or grammatical errors. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't make you look like a serious contender. Make sure you structure the pieces well so that they flow from one thought to another seamlessly. 2. Add examples to make your theories easier to understand. Avoid language that contains technical terms that the average reader might not understand. If you do use such language, give them a brief definition or add a glossary if it is an ebook. It also helps customers better connect with your brand. 3. Since you know your audience demographic, make sure you use their lingo. Don't be silly, just friendly. Be conversational in the tone so that they don't feel like they are reading information spit out by a bot. 4. Make sure the content is formatted well. Use bullet points and short paragraphs so that the reader does not get tired. Summarize the plot points from time to time for those who are quickly glancing at the page. Step 5. Update your content. The final step is to stay on top of the content game. This is possible by updating content that is relevant long after it is published. You know that updating headlines and descriptions along with keywords and tags is useful. See if you can add information that makes the content relevant to the present day. Apart from that, here's what you can do. 1. Add fun facts or statistics that make it relevant. 2. Optimize the metadata for the search engine of your choice. 3. Check your website traffic statistics and review the content from time to time. Basically, if there is a blog post that is doing well, weeks or months after it is published, make sure you milk the traffic it is getting by updating it and writing any trend that might be relevant to the subject. When you discuss best SEO practices, white hat SEO and black hat SEO are two terms that you will hear a lot. Don't be intimidated by the jargon. These are two very simple opposing concepts. White hat techniques are those that help give your website goodwill in the eyes of search engines through good practices that genuinely aim to provide the user with quality content that therefore gives you good rankings on search engines. Black hat techniques are basically the opposite. When you try cheap gimmicks to fool the search engine, you create ethical concerns and risk getting penalized by search engines. Thankfully, these definitions are not arbitrary, and these penalties should be taken seriously because they have real-time business consequences. Shortcuts are appealing in the short term and are easy, but the risk is too high, and honestly, it is not worth it. Black hat techniques include tactics like link scraping and keyword stuffing. You will not only be heavily penalized, but also run the risk of being removed from appearing in search results, which is better known as being blacklisted. Number 1. Keyword placement. When you have a good set of keywords, it is natural to want to use them more often to get traction for your content. You already know not to overdo it, but you must also make sure that the main keyword is placed at the top of the content. This is because Google likes to see high-value keywords right on top, like in the first line. Number 2. Search intent. Then there is the term called search or user intent, which analyzes the reason behind each user query. This is Google's priority, because when they know why a user wants to know something, they can find the websites that answer the question with those parameters in mind. So if you want to be on the first search results page, this is what you need to crack as well. This can be divided into 4 different types. 1. Information. This often is about giving the user a direct answer for a simple and specific query. 2. Navigation. This is when a user is looking for a product or service and the answer is a website. Twitter login is a good example. It is just about finding the login page. 3. Businesses. This is when the user is looking for a product but isn't going to buy it just yet. This often results in best of lists for that product category. 4. Transactions. This is when the user is ready to buy a product and looks for a tool that can get them the product. Buy iPhone 6s is a good example. Understanding why the user is looking for something gives you an edge over the competition. Number 3. Page speed. The speed at which your web page loads is not just a matter of convenience for your user, but also an important SEO practice. This wasn't always the case, but in today's market, if you have a slow-loading page, your users will run like they are on fire. Search engines don't like recommending such pages to their users. Data shows that even a 1-second delay can lead to a 7% loss in conversion rate. Data also shows that about 40% of users leave a website that takes over 3 seconds to load. This has made businesses more cautious about the way their websites are built. And search engine optimization has a huge impact on revenue generation. So page speed becomes a key factor. This can be achieved by getting rid of elements on the page like plugins that are not essential and are heavy. Number 4, use HTTPS. If you did not know it already, HTTPS makes your web page more secure. This is because the data exchange between the server and the user is encrypted when your website is secured with the HTTPS protocol. You can verify this by looking at the URL in the loading bar of the browser and seeing if there is a lock icon there. It has become an important feature for Google SEO rankings since 2014. If you don't see the lock icon, you will need to get an SSL certificate, which can be obtained from many web hosts. You will need to install it on all pages, but you need to do it only once. Number 5, avoid duplicate content. I have mentioned this briefly when talking about keeping the content on your website unique. But this is what Google looks for. It says very clearly that the website should not have duplicate or near duplicate content on different pages of your website. In short, you are not allowed to plagiarize your own content. This is true for all elements of the content, including title tags, product pages, landing pages, meta description, alt text of images, and so on. It's not a difficult rule to understand. It simply means that all the content has to be unique. If you run a large website with a lot of products and services, it can be a little difficult, but invest enough resources in writing and it can be taken care of. You can also try combining pages if the content has that level of similarity. Number 6, optimize your images. Adding images is a great way to break textual content on a page, but if they are not optimized, they will take forever to load and even slow down the overall page speed. This brings you back to bad user experience. You have certainly spent a lot of time picking the right images for the content you created. Now just make sure that you spend some more time to optimize them using some classic secrets of the trade. Number 7, insert relevant hyperlinks. I have discussed link building wherein other websites link to your content. But you might also want to think about doing the same. It is normal to think that it might drive traffic away from your page, but it is an integral part of SEO strategy. When you link back to authority pages that have relevant information and are trustworthy, you give the visitor good information. This makes your website a place of valuable and quality information and helps with ranking. It also shows some amount of trust between the two websites, and you can expect reciprocation when you create content that is helpful or relevant to their website. For instance, when you want a blogger to link back to your website, you can expect a better response if you do the same. This is not about quid pro quo, but about using the information on each other's site to improve Google rankings and give the user what they are looking for. With enough goodwill, you might even get a shout out from such authority websites when you do a good job with your content. Number 8, use your keyword research. You know that this is an important part of making sure your website gets visibility with a search engine. You want to create content that is consumed, and for that you need to use the words that your customers and potential customers are using to find your products and services. Just make sure you are looking at high-volume keywords along with keywords that help you stand out from the crowd so that you don't get lost in the list of thousands of other websites which are also using the exact same set of keywords. Make sure you look at the search volume for the keywords you pick, which can tell you the estimated amount of traffic on each of them. Number 9, the Google Search Console. This is a great way to understand how your site is performing on the search engine results page. This is like a dashboard for your website and is incredibly helpful with SEO. It comes with many features like reports on 3 of the most critical factors. 1. Performance. This is the data related to the number of people who click on your URL when it shows up on the Google SERP. It also tells you the keywords they used and where you were placed on the page. You will also learn about clicks and impressions that tell you whether your SEO strategy is working. 2. Enhancement. This is about mobile usability. This part of the report tells you how you are doing on cell phones, which is a huge section of how users are browsing the internet. And since Google indexes based on mobile-first parameters, you want to know how you fare in this segment. 3. Coverage. This lets you know how many of your web pages are indexed by Google. So, if it is not able to crawl any of those pages, it tells you that along with the reason so that you can fix it. Acting on it right away means improving your shot at ranking on Google's SERP. Number 10, long-form content. This has gone out of fashion because people aren't reading long-form content as much as they want to. But the truth is, long-form content has a better chance of ranking higher on Google. There is plenty of research to show that the top performing pieces are long-format articles that have more than 3,000 words. These pieces are likely to get 3 times more traffic, 4 times more shares, and 3.5 times more backlinks than pieces that are about 900 to 1,200 words. The link between search performance and the length of the content is something to be taken very seriously. So you might want to have at least a couple of these pieces that are well-researched and have useful information told in a conversational tone without technical parlance. Are you ready to elevate your success? Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's make your entrepreneurial dreams a reality.